Hey guys, I pray that all is well. I pray that y'all test the spirit by the spirit to know if this word is for you. So the Lord said this is Decisions December. Decisions December. So first of all, guys, we are out of the wilderness. We are going towards what he called us to. But right now, the Father told me specifically in the middle of this fast to rest. And I actually just want to bring this to you guys because he told me this like 4 days ago to rest. I was attending to my day-to-day aspects of life, but at the same time, heeding the voice of God, and he's been sending me from here to there. I'm actually living out of 2 different locations at the moment because he said it's Decisions December. And the way that we will be able to make these decisions are only by the voice of God. So to hear the voice of God, you have to silence all the rest of the outside noise. And for myself, I know that he's brought me divine helpers and destiny helpers to get me to where he's called me to. We call them angels, his messengers. He set people in place to assist us to where it is that he's calling us to. But at the same time, to heed his directions, to heed his instructions, you have to be still in the secret place. And for myself, he told me, he woke me up to Psalms 32 verse 8. Psalms 32 verse 8. And it says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will guide you with my eye. So guys, God is going to give us instructions in the secret place, but we have to be still and know that he is God. We have to be still and know that he is God. When we be still and know that he is God, he will be exalted among the nations. He said, I will be exalted in the earth. And that's the Father, not us. See, we have to lay down what it is that we want and heed the voice of God so he can show us what it is that we need and where he's taking us. See, some of us are going to different locations. Like for myself, I told y'all I'm living out of 2 different places right now. I'm trying to heed the voice of the Father so I don't make any false moves or any moves on my own. Because I would love to stay where I'm located right now because God literally called me to this town in April. But my lease ends in July. So if my lease ends in July and the Father is calling me elsewhere, y'all know with our call, whenever God calls us and tells us to pick up and move, we pick up and move. We move with the Spirit, not with the flesh. So if God calls us to move elsewhere, or he's showing us elsewhere, maybe he's showing us that for a different time frame, but you have to hear the voice of God. Outsiders can't come in and say, hey, God showed me or God told me that you're supposed to do this. No, you have to seek the voice of God and he'll show you and instruct you what you should do. And the other people that are coming from outside, like the divine helpers or destiny helpers, they should only be giving you confirmation on what God already told you. You don't heed the voice of man, you heed the voice of God. So y'all be still, y'all rest. God called us to rest. For myself, I've been working since I was 14, so it's been so hard to just do this thing called rest. But in my resting times, that's when the Father speaks to me the most. Whenever you pray, whenever we go into prayer, guys, make sure you remember it's a 2-way relationship. The relationship we have with the Father is not one way. He doesn't just let us speak to him and doesn't say anything to us. He wants to speak to us too. He wakes me up out of my sleep to speak to me. And sometimes he speaks to me in my sleep. But y'all have to trust in the Lord with all y'all heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your crooked path straight. In all your ways acknowledge him. See, the way that we can acknowledge him the most in this season is just to listen and heed his word. I know a lot of us could look and reflect over our lives and see there was times that God was instructing us to do something and we ran from what it was that he was calling us to do. For myself, I'm no longer one to be disobedient. I just want to heed the voice of the Father because he knows where it is that he's taking us, and we are just a part of the grand scheme of things, guys. I was also instructed to write the vision and make it plain. So whenever he gives us our instructions, make sure you write down the instructions in grave detail, because some of these things that he's calling us to do are not even for right now. So make sure you just write the vision and make it plain. Some of you guys are getting the instructions on what it is that he needs you to do while you're here, while we're here on earth. So for myself, I know he's giving me divine instructions on what it is he's called me to do in future tense, and I'm talking about like 10 years from now. So don't get so anxious in what he's calling you to do that you think you're going to do it tomorrow. Everything is not for tomorrow. Everything is not even for now. Like if he gave you a promise of like for marriage or for a new job or for a new position at work, everything is not for now. So make sure you go to the Father and see what it is that he's telling you to do. Don't take your own instructions. Don't take your own advice, because guess what? Our ways are not God's ways. So sometimes he instructs us on things that we're going to do future tense for us to prepare ourselves for those situations. But God has so many open doors for us, guys. Like, we are in a season of open doors, and I can just sit here and smile and bask in his glory because it's all God. So God be all the glory. Like, I could do none of these things that are happening in my life right now. Like, I'm not even here off of my own grace. Like, it's all by God's grace that I'm here right now. And I'm still praying for you guys. I'm praying and I'm interceding for y'all, and I pray that you guys are doing the same for me. I just know that everything it is that I've asked the Father for, it looks like it's just lining up to come to fruition. But even if those things that I've asked for are outside of the will of God, I don't want them. Like, if it's something that I want and it's not in the will of the Father, then I don't want it. I do not want it. Because it's things that I've wanted for years that God is just like placing in front of me. He told us that we had the keys of David, and I had a dream about a month ago where it said we had numerous open doors. But I only want to take the route of the Father. So I pray that you guys want to do the same thing. Do not lean on your own understanding, because our flesh is weak, and sometimes we just think up a storm. Whatever it is that God called us to do, some of us are called to the nations, so he will provide for us financially. But financial gain is something that we shouldn't even care about, because when we do get that financial gain, it's kingdom's money. It's for kingdom's purpose. It's not for us. It's not for us to take money and just be so enthused that we have something and not remember that it's for the Father. Anything that we have, any provisions that he makes, is for the kingdom. It's for his glory, not for ours. But I pray that you guys have a blessed day. I just had to get on here and tell you guys that we're in a season of rest. So even though you'll be putting your hands to the plow to the things that he's called you to do specifically in this season, remember that God has work rest cycles, and he put us in a season of rest because he's trying to heal us. I'm in a season of healing for sure right now, and I can't heal if I'm always running from pillar to post and if I don't know how to rest. Like, I get headaches, y'all. I get headaches, and God talks to me. He's like, because you're overworking yourself. Relax. Like, I want to get up and work out for 2 and 3 hours a day because that's just what I like to do. But God sometimes sits us down so we can learn how to rest, because we can't keep going. Once you work yourself so much, you can make yourself sick. And every time I do that, God shows me. He showed me over the last 5 months how to take a work rest cycle, even when I put my hands to the plow too much. But y'all listen to the voice of the Father. Heed the voice of the Father. Don't heed the voice of the enemy, because there's 2 voices. The still small voice is the voice of the Father. And the only way that you can hear from him clearly is by fasting and prayer, and also worshiping. Don't forget to worship. Y'all, fasting and praying is very, very important. In this season right now, we're in a season of fasting. This fast isn't over yet. Just because I don't check in with you guys daily does not mean this fast is over. Sometimes we have to fast so we can hear the voice of the Father. And sometimes when God calls us away, like he called me away because I had 1,000,001 things to do, I couldn't check in with y'all. But when the Father calls me, I go. And I pray that you guys are obedient to him as well, because he needs us. He needs us to do what it is that he called us to do. Not that because he can use anyone. But if he's using you in this season, do not be afraid. Matter of fact, because God did not give us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. And I'm speaking that to myself. As I minister to you, I'm ministering to myself, because he did not give us that spirit. And sometimes that spirit just creeps in. Whenever we have a little sin here, a little sin there, a little unforgiveness here, a little brokenhearted there, a little unhealing, like an area that God is trying to heal us in, and we still try to run back to the things that he did not call us to, then that's when the sin creeps in. And whenever the sin creeps in, it gives us the spirit of fear, because God didn't give that to us. He did not give us that spirit. So y'all stay focused on God. In this season, stay focused on what he called you to do. Keep your eyes fixated on him, and he will exalt you. Y'all have a blessed one. Bye.